I just got back from watching Caught Stealing. It is directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, and a bunch of other great cast. And I quite enjoyed this movie. Now, I haven't seen Darren Aronofsky's entire film catalog. I've only seen Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, and The Whale. So going into this movie, I was expecting something a little different, I guess. Generally speaking, I go to movies to escape reality. This kind of film isn't really my preference. I don't necessarily like watching realistic movies. And honestly, the first 10 to 15 minutes of this film, I was kind of thinking, I am not gonna like this movie. It doesn't really do much in the beginning. It's kind of just like, great, it's a guy in a relationship living his life. But once this movie gets the ball rolling, this is a very, very entertaining film. So Austin Butler plays Hank, who is neighbors to Matt Smith's character. Russ has to leave for a couple of days, so he leaves his cat and a couple of his belongings to Hank. And apparently, those couple of belongings are very important to very dangerous people. They come after Russ, but since Russ isn't there, they go to Hank, his next door neighbor, and he gets involved in this huge world of crime, and the plot ensues. Basically, this movie is about a guy who gets involved in a bunch of shit he was not supposed to get involved in. A lot of people die, he goes through a life-changing experience, and it is very entertaining to watch him go through that. It was right around the 30-minute mark where I was fully invested into this film. There were a couple of clever plot twists that kept me going throughout the entire film. Now, like I said, I've only seen 3 of Darren Aronofsky's previous films, so I was kind of expecting a little more from this movie. Like Requiem for a Dream and Sunshine, I was expecting it to go a little more in the existential, outer world, maybe not just a regular movie kind of vibe. But I have seen The Whale, so I know he can just make a grounded movie, which this one very much is. The best thing about this movie is the writing and the acting. And I'm going to start with the acting. Austin Butler, ever since Dune 2, I've been a fan of. I've only seen him in a couple of movies, but he really knocked it out of the park. He plays a could-have-been baseball player, and he really sells just the living in New York. Just a good guy. I don't know. He just sells this performance extremely well. And Zoe Kravitz, loved her. But my favorite was Matt Smith. He plays just this oddball character. He's got a crazy accent, a crazy outfit, and he honestly sells it. It's hard to sell this kind of role, and he sold it. Now, there are a couple of ridiculous characters in this film. In particular, there's these 2 Russian bodyguards, and one of them just plays like an animal. Like, he's a human, but he acts like an animal. It doesn't really fit in this movie, if you ask me. And then there is a couple of, like, Jewish characters. You'll know them when you see them. Those are my favorite guys. And there's a mom of these 2 guys that was just a great character in this film. This is basically just like a character acting movie, and it's very well done. But this is one of those movies that honestly I don't think you need to watch more than once. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's no real reason to go back and watch it. You can get the full experience the first time around. So overall, Caught Stealing, first 10 to 15 minutes were kind of rough. Once the ball gets rolling, it really got going. I loved the acting, loved the writing, even I love the directing and the cinematography. That being said, it's not really my kind of movie, and I don't really think it's rewatchable. Overall, I'm going to give this movie 7 out of 10. I do think it's worth watching, and I think it's worth watching in theaters. You'll have a good time. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought down below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.